Hi, so I'm super excited to be sharing this tutorial with you guys today. This is one of my favorite anime characters, Koro Sensei. Now this is a pretty challenging plushie to make, but it's doable. So you're going to need 2 yellow fuzzy socks for this, a white fuzzy sock for the mouth, some black yarn to use for the mouth outline and the teeth, some round black beads for the eyes, some black fleece material for his jacket, some kind of white cotton material for his collar, a shiny yellow material for his decorations on his jacket, and also for his moon on the tie. You're going to need a needle and thread that matches the colors you're using, some yellow yarn for his tassel, some red felt material for his tassel as well. You're going to need some stuffing, which I just used an old pillow and took apart. You're going to need a piece of cardboard for the hat, and I used an old plastic tub for the base of the hat, but you can use whatever you have. And I used some super glue to hold some of the pieces in place. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so you're going to start out with your yellow fuzzy sock, and then we're going to make the head. So we're just going to stuff the toe end of it. Okay, once you've got your head stuffed, it should be a nice round shape like this, and then we're going to trim off the excess fabric. So we're going to do a running stitch around the base of this opening. So you're going to go in through the top of the sock. And we're going to make a knot so that we can hold the thread in place and it won't just pull through the sock. And then you're going to go around the rim of this, going in and out all the way around. Okay, once you've gone all the way around the edge, you're going to start pulling the thread tight. And while you're doing that, you're going to push this extra fabric inside. The next thing we're going to do is go around this little rim here and go in all the ridges that have just formed. And then we're going to sew across the opening a couple times. Okay, once you've gone around a couple times, the next thing we're going to do is make a couple knots to hold it in place. So you're going to go through again and go through the end of your thread here. And make a little loop like that, and then just pull it tight. And do that a couple times. Alright, once you're all done with that, we're going to hide our thread. So you're going to go in from where the thread is coming out now, and just shove your needle out the side of his head. And then just trim your thread. And that'll help hold it in place so your thread doesn't come out. Okay, to make his body, we're going to use the top part of the sock that we cut off. But we're not going to use the whole thing because it's a little too long, so we're just going to trim it a little bit. And then I'm going to cut the side because it's a little bit too wide right now. So you're first going to turn it inside out so that the right sides are together on the inside, and then we're going to start along the edge here. Okay, once you've sewed around both of these edges, we're going to flip it right side out. And then now we're going to take some more stuffing and just stuff it. Okay, so once you have it stuffed, it should be about like this. And then we're going to do another running stitch on the top of this. Okay, so this time we're not going to pull it all the way closed. I'm just going to leave it about like this. And then I'm just going to do some knots across the top to hold it in place. So while the thread is still attached to the top of this, I'm going to start sewing it onto the base of the head. So I'm going to do a ladder stitch for this and alternate going from the head to the body. So I'm going to make one stitch through the head, one stitch through the body, and do that all the way around. Okay, once you've attached the body to the head, it should look like this. And now we're going to take some of the remaining fuzzy sock and just cut some pieces up for the arms. So you're going to cut out 2 pieces about this length, and we're going to fold them in half with the right sides together and sew along 2 of the sides, leaving one open so that we can turn it inside out and stuff it. Okay, once you've got your 2 arms sewn and flipped right side out, they should look like this. And then we're just going to add a little bit of stuffing to them to give them a little bit of body. Once your 2 arms are stuffed, they should look like this. We're not going to sew the openings closed because we're just going to attach it straight to the body. So I'm going to point mine in a downward pointing angle, and then we're going to attach this kind of like the head to the body. We're just going to make stitches going from the arm to the body. And just do that all the way around the arm. And then repeat that for both arms. Okay, once you have the arms sewn on, they should look like this. And now we're going to do the bottom 6 tentacles. So you're going to take the top part of another sock and you're going to cut it into 6 pieces about this size. I would just cut a row here and then cut it in half so that you get 2 pieces out of each one. And then just do that 3 times. Okay, so once you've got your 6 pieces cut, you're going to fold them in half with the right sides together. And then I'm going to trim the top part here just so it's rounded. And then you're going to sew along the 2 edges and leave the bottom one open again, just like the arms. And then we're going to turn them all inside out and stuff them. So do that for all 6 of the tentacles. Okay, so once you've got your 6 tentacles turned right side out and stuffed, they should look like this. And now we're going to attach them to his body. So they're going to go along the base of his body like this, and just do 6 evenly spaced all around. So go ahead and attach them the same way you did his arms. Once you have his legs sewn on, he should look like this. And now I'm going to start putting his face together. So you're going to need 2 small round black beads for this. You're going to take the first one and thread it onto your needle. And then tie a knot around the end of it and double knot it just to make sure it stays in place. So now you're going to put the needle in where you want the first eye to go, and then make it come out where you want the second one to be. Then you're going to take the second one and put it on the needle. So now you're going to go in behind the second eye and come out behind the first eye. Like this. And then you're going to keep going back and forth until the eyes are secure. Then you're going to make a knot. And then just hide your thread. Okay, so that's what his face should look like so far. So I cut out this piece of white fuzzy sock for his mouth, and now I'm going to attach it to his face. In order to attach it, we're going to go in from the yellow and up through the white. And just keep doing that all the way around the mouth. Once you have his mouth sewn on, it should look like this. And now I'm going to put some super glue along it and then put some black yarn on it to make it stand out a little bit. Okay, once you're done with that, you're going to take some little pieces of yarn and do the same thing along the mouth to make some teeth. His face should look like this once you're done with that. So for his graduation gown, I'm kind of piecing it together as I go. So I just took some black fleece and I kind of fit it around him and cut out the shape that I wanted. And then I'm going to sew that together with the right sides together and turn it inside out. So my two pieces right now look like this, and I'm going to be trimming it to get it to fit how I want it to. Okay, so once you've got his little graduation gown sewn, it'll look something like this. And again, this is very rough because I'm just piecing it together as I go. But it's got the sleeves, and then I cut open the stomach. I don't know if you can see that. So that way I can just sew it shut once I have it finalized and placed around him. So now we're going to work on the collar. So I took some white cotton fabric and I'm going to sew it around the edge of the top of this gown. And you just want it to be high enough so that it can fold over like a collar. So I'm just going to have it fold down about a 1/2 inch and do that all the way around. So I'm going to start sewing it all the way on one end of the jacket. So I'm just going to sew this the way I've been sewing all the other pieces together. Okay, so now that I've got this white part sewn onto the top of the graduation gown, I'm going to fold it over and then I'm just going to trim it so it's a consistent length, probably about to here. Okay, so once you have the collar trimmed down, it should look something like this. And then I'm just going to pull these two pieces together and sew both of the edges together like this. It's not going to look perfect yet, but there's still a few more parts we're going to add that are going to make it look nicer. Okay, so once you've sewn his belly together, it should look like this. And then I cut out this yellow strip of shiny fabric, and I'm going to glue this along his collar here, all the way around. Okay, so once you're done with the yellow, it should look like this. And then for his tie, I cut out a little tie shape from some black fleece, and then I also cut out a tiny little moon out of the same yellow material. And I'm going to glue these together, and then I'm going to glue them in place on him. Okay, so once you're done gluing that on, he should look like this. Now we're going to start working on the final piece, which is his hat. Okay, so I raided my recycle bin for this part, so I just found a plastic tub. I'm just going to cut off the top portion here with a box cutter, and then that's going to be the base of his hat. So I drew a line about where I'm going to be cutting, and I'm just going to go along with the X-Acto knife. So be very careful with this part. Okay, so I just cut a strip of black fleece material, and now we're going to go around and super glue this along the edge here. Okay, so once you're done, it should look like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and fold this edge over and glue it as I go, so that way it covers the edge. After you're done with that, you're going to get a piece of cardboard, and I'm going to put my top of the hat in the middle, and I'm going to sketch around for how big I want his cap to be. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut that shape out. Okay, once you've got your square, you're going to lay it down on top of another piece of black fleece, and we're going to glue it down in the middle, and then fold the edges over and glue those down as well. So I also went ahead and cut out the corners on this so it wouldn't be so bulky when I fold it over. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is glue around the top of this, and then flip your hat over and put it in the center. To make his tassel, we're going to take some yellow yarn and just wrap it around your hand a bunch of times. I think about like that should be good. Then you're going to slide it through your hand. And taking another piece of yarn, you're going to go through the opening and tie a knot. And I'm going to double knot it just to hold it in place. And then I'm going to snip the bottom part of the yarn. So it's going to look like that. And I'm going to trim this piece that I just tied my knot with. And you can trim the bottom here so that all the yarn is the same length. Okay, then I cut out a little rectangle of red felt material. And I'm going to cover it in super glue. And then I'm going to take my tassel that I just made and stick it on. And then tightly roll this up. Okay, I'm going to glue the yarn from the tassel onto the middle of the hat. And while that's drying, I'm just going to cut a little circle out of the black fleece. I'm going to trim the excess yarn here. And then I'm going to put more glue on the bottom of this and just stick it on the top here. Okay, so the last thing we have to do is attach the hat to his head. So you could glue this on, but I'm going to try sewing it on. So you're going to do a ladder stitch again, going from his head up through the fleece on the hat. Once you have the hat sewn on, it should look like this. Alright, so this is your finished product. It took me quite a while, but I really enjoyed making it, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. Let me know down in the comments if you give it a try. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any suggestions for future videos you would like to see, leave those in the comments as well, and make sure you subscribe.